Welcome to the Activated Podcast, May 30th, 2021. It's one of your hosts, just one, your boy GDQ. We here, baby.
It's the other one of the three. Your boy Real Walter Ford. What's going on?
Technically, we four, but Boop.
Four. My bad. You right, Boop. I'm sorry.
This guy. Well, whatever day it's 1/3, and the other days when it's 1/4, it's your boy Mac 2301. Activated Podcast.
Good save. We back.
Yeah. Today was pretty eventful.
Last year.
Yeah.
So today was the day that La Mesa, San Diego, joined the George Floyd Uprising. Okay.
Protest. The biggest protest in recorded history of Earth.
I don't know about that.
We don't know.
It was the biggest movement and the most people participated in America, but I don't know about the biggest protest in history.
It was the biggest protest on Earth, bro. You need to look it up.
I think
it was like 17 countries. You tripped.
60 countries.
Well, I'm talking about like major ones, but yeah, you're right. 60 countries still though, but like almost every major country, fam, is people all over the world, fam. Ain't nobody. Gandhi had a lot of people at one time, but I don't think it was that many.
It was 18 to 27 million people participated. Is the number from Wikipedia. But I mean, there's been a lot of big protests across the world. I don't know if it was the biggest protest in the world. Yeah, but it was the biggest civil rights movement in America. Yes, and the most people participated. And then it was also the most like destruction caused. And it was also the biggest non-war military deployment in history of America.
Yeah.
It was 96,000 National Guard troops were deployed across the country. Which in 68, it was
that's a lot of boots, fam.
Like 78,000. So it was almost like 20,000 more troops that they deployed. And bunker bitch. Y'all remember? People forgot. Trump was scared.
It was bad as hell. It was bad as hell at that nigga.
He was scared.
I didn't go in the bunker. They built that fence way faster than they built that wall they was talking about. That fence around the White House.
No time.
So yeah, y'all. So it's this past week was 1 year since George Floyd's passing or murder. Pretty much, my bad, is murder. And it's been a lot of things that's transpired in that in between time, but it's also a lot of shit that ain't changed. So.
Yeah, and so. I mean, do y'all remember the first time you saw the George Floyd video? Because we'll go back a year. Because it was.
So you know me, bro. So since before we were doing this podcast, I watch niggas die every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? I watched that type of thing, and I saw it, and I was like, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I felt scared, like a mixture of not scared, but like nervous. You know what I'm saying? Like a nervous energy, because it was the most blatant, you know, it's pretty blatant, but that was like the most blatant. Like you ain't never seen something like that. So I was kind of nervous and I felt like something's gonna happen. So yeah.
I do remember watching it. I actually had to like watch. It took me a couple of times to watch it.
Yeah, I didn't even see the whole video at first.
Yeah. Like, I remember I had seen a clip, or no, I had seen a picture. I had seen a picture of it, a still shot of it. And I didn't read it because I just kept scrolling because I was like, I didn't want to deal with it. And then, like, I seen, like, a small little clip of it. And then at that point in time, that's when, like, you know, it started circulating. I watched the full video and like, oh, man, like that.
How it make you feel, bro? What the emotions is going through your body?
Like that shit was just like so crazy. Like,
it's 2021. It's okay to let them out. We black men. Let it out. Cry. No, I'm just...
oh, I ain't gonna cry. No, it's just like, it was just like you said, it was just so blatant. I'm just like, well, you know, where's the line being drawn? You know, like man, there was just like so much anger, and it was really more anger towards like the fact that nothing was being done about it, like, you know, and the fact that like, well, here we are once again saying the same thing over and 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 over again, that, you know, police don't treat, you know, people of color right, and that they murder us, you know, just as much.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. That shit made me shed a tear. I ain't gonna lie to you. I saw that shit. That shit made me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Jerked a tear on my ass. I was like, God damn. Nah, nigga. Only it was the mama part that got me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people forget. It's a 10 minutes. It's damn near 10 minutes, man. That's a long time to watch. You know. Yeah. So that's the part that got me, fam. That's it. So, what about you, Q? How that make you feel? You the white dude in the situation.
No, I mean, I thought it was crazy. I just remember it going everywhere, and yeah, like I still to this day haven't watched the whole thing. I mean, it's
that's crazy for real. I didn't know that.
No, I mean, I'm not
you
a
ain't
big
missing.
fan
I mean,
of.
not saying like it's like, oh yeah, you should watch it, but I mean, yeah.
No, yeah, but I mean, that's how bad it is. I mean, it's one thing to like, yeah, I mean, watch someone get shot, but I mean, when you're like, I mean, for 9 minutes, you know what I mean? It's
watching somebody suffer.
Yeah, and it's weird, man, because like you just don't think stuff like that. I mean, never mind. You think stuff like that happen all the time. It's just we don't see it on TV. You know what I'm saying, or nothing like that. You don't see people, you know, stuff like that happen in other countries where it's recorded that clearly and whatever. That cruel is never that cruel. They always like sugarcoat it.
Yeah, and the way this fool looked and just like it was nuts.
Yeah.
And then
exactly. It was like he's blatantly looking evil, like with the picture with him. Remember that the picture I'm going like this, like he like looking down, like, you know, all of the shit. It was all the imagery and the situation. And like they was like, oh, he ain't even arrested yet. He just walking around. He's like, what?
Well, and the thing is they did get arrested because of the response from the people of Minneapolis. Minneapolis snapped. Like those first few days, they snapped. Like,
yeah.
They overtook a police precinct, which is like hasn't happened in years. The videos of them retreating, and so that I was surprised. Like, and so on the 28th, when the third precinct like went up in flames, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be nuts. Like for the next few days, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's when niggas was like, oh, there's something about to happen right now. Like,
and I watched on live stream till like 2 a.m, bro. Just like building, like a bunch of buildings burning, bro. Just
I remember that. Yeah, I remember. You was sharing. Yeah, we was all watching it, bro.
And I think by like the third day they were arrested. Arrested, which is super rare.
Because it was a third of the city gone. That's right. It took 3 days. Well, we don't want to lose this chunk of the city, so we just gonna go ahead and put these niggas in jail like they asked.
Didn't they also protect his house at first?
I was gonna say that was also a thing, bro. Yeah, and so if I'm not mistaken, immediately following that, they had all the police at his house in full riot gear. Not all the police, but they had the riot squad or whatever the fuck they call it. Surround his home 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? He had 24-hour protection around his home. And remember this time about like he couldn't leave and shit, and they wouldn't let like Uber Eats come to his house and shit. And that shit was that was wild. It was wild that like we literally sat and watched. What was it? It was a tweet. It was like the government would rather watch a city burn down than hold 4 police officers accountable for killing somebody, killing a black dude. You know what I'm saying? Like And it actually said a whole country. It was like I'd rather watch the whole country burn and go into chaos rather than put four people in jail for murder and stuff. You know, that's wild.
But at that point, it didn't even get to that because it was just Minneapolis.
Yeah. And then y'all remember, and then like you said, it happened here in San Diego where we was at. I forgot my guy's name. What was his name?
The video of Amari Johnson went viral like maybe like a week before the George Floyd one did.
Yep.
I think it was like a week before, and Matt Dodges, whatever you want to say, assaulted this fool and illegally detained and arrested him. Super racist encounter. And
that video pissed me off too.
Yeah, that video pissed a lot of people off, and that fool ended up getting fired and charged with a felony for falsifying a police report. That was it. But I mean, the only reason why that fool got fired and in trouble in the first place was because of La Mesa's reaction. And people in San Diego, they showed up to the La Mesa Police Department, and that's where the protest was. And then they started marching. They marched onto the 8 highway, stopped traffic for like a while, like an hour and a half. And then I remember marching back and in front of the police station, and they were worried. I mean, people were in front of the police station. They were worried.
Oh, they were scared. Remember, he was telling me it was only like 12 police officers on the La Mesa. It was only 12 of them.
I think La Mesa has like 60 total police officers, you know? Yeah. So they're all worried. And the county sheriff, you know, they're slow to react, but they were there. And I'm pretty sure they were the ones calling the shots, but they were worried. I mean, they were scared that they were.
Because it was hundreds of people, fam.
But the thing is like the crowd wasn't trying to take the police station. Like that wasn't their goal or anything. They were just standing out there. Like
this wasn't violent. Yeah.
They were just chanting, and I mean they had sprayed they had graffitied the walls and stuff, but I mean they weren't like trying to
go burn the building down and drag people out by their feet and shit. Yeah.
But what pisses people off is when cops start shooting tear gas and pepper bullets and start hitting people with their sticks and shooting Leslie Fulcrin in the eye. I mean, they shot the black grandma in the eye, almost killing her, and she's freaking half blind now. They shot her with a beanbag, remember?
Yeah, no, I remember. I was just gonna say, bro. I remember seeing that picture, and that shit damn near, I damn near threw up, bro. It was like crazy. Like her eye was bleeding, and she was like on the ground, like. And wasn't she nowhere near the protest?
No, she was in the parking lot when they released the body cam footage or whatever, their propaganda video. They released like 6 months later or whatever. They tried to say that she threw a rock, and like she was hella far away, and it just like you can't even. Her arm.
It was a group of people.
Yeah, and then the fool shoots her and says, "Oh, that was him throwing the rocks." Him throwing the rocks. That's what he said.
But and then they blame it on this woman. They shoot in the face, and they're like, "Oh, we just gonna shoot in the face and give us some money."
Yeah. So after that, I mean, people went crazy. I mean, the city hall was right there. They were breaking in the city hall. It got ransacked.
And that's when I pulled up, and I'll never forget that shit. When I pulled up, it was like a little bit. It was like just getting dark outside, and that fire truck was on fire.
Like miracle truck or whatever.
Yeah, some truck was on fire, and I just remember seeing all the police just in standing there in line, and there was hella people on the street and like kind of on the side of the building, and they was like shooting at people. And people like ducking back and going forward, ducking back and going forward. I was like, damn. And then remember that dude threw a firecracker behind us, tried to hit somebody with a firecracker.
And then so he got laid out by some 14-year-olds.
Yeah, he tried to run away, and the 14-year-old was like, "What's up there? Who?
Night."
Yeah, he went directly to bed. Do not pass go. I said, "Oh, he gonna be well rested by the time this protest over." So yeah, that was crazy. And then, like you said, we saw all those other buildings go. I'll never forget. We saw that Chase building and whatever.
Yeah, Delaney left, and then we pulled up, and remember they were like saying they were going to Grossmont Center, and we pulled up
That's
to
when I
Grossmont
left.
Center.
That's when I
And
left.
was
When
the
they said
police
they
over
were
there
going
was
to
set up.
Yeah, they said they were at Grossmont Center. We went over there, but it seems like people had already hit it. They already had cops standing out there. There was some broken windows and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I think that shit was a setup, though. I don't think it was no.
Yeah, I still do think it was a setup. That's a good way to get people to leave the area, is to just go in the crowd and say, "Let's go here, let's go here."
Yeah, exactly. And then they already was set up to do, you know what I'm saying? They was around. They was
energy
But yeah, that
was already high.
Yeah, that was a crazy night.
And then we came back, and that's when Chase got broken into, set on fire. Then they hit the Union Bank. I seen them banging the ATM, bro. I was dead, bro. Oh man.
That it was interesting though, because like it took that, you know what I'm saying, and like not niggas, we laughing and shit and we making light of the situation, but it's like all of these people are emotional. Like it's like emotion, like raw emotion. And like I was talking to my cousin earlier about how the human body, just us as people, are about build up and release. And all of this stuff was built up, fam, like Sandra Bland, Mike Brown, like, and these are just the recent ones. These are the ones that we know about. It's really like thousands, you know. And then George Floyd was just like the icing on the cake, you know. And yeah, and it took all of that just to get a little bit of a response. And then remember there was protests after that too. It was crazy.
Yeah, and then the next day, well, they called the National Guard out to La Mesa, and I knew no one was going back to La Mesa. I lived like a mile down the road, and yeah, it was.
Remember, they had that shit cleaned up in like 2 days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Vaughn's was open a week later, I think. Yeah, it looked like nothing happened over there.
Yeah, it was brand new next day.
I remember there was a lot of people like helping out and cleaning up and stuff like that, because that entire shopping center got looted, and there was a bunch of windows broken, and the bank got broken into at California Coast. That was my bank. I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers are fucking up the bank.
I remember I was watching, niggas had surfboards. I said, these can't even swim.
But yeah, the next day in San Diego, we didn't even get there till late at night, but they were going all day. Like all day, the cops were shooting tear gas and pepper bullets at them from like 12 until all night, bro.
And that's when we was walking downtown?
Yeah, that's when we came downtown, but I'm talking for hours before that. They were fucking.
I know that before we got there, yeah. It was like hundreds of people. That was like when it was like at the peak. It was. I remember I stood on this thing and was recording the amount of people walking by. It was like 4 minutes of people walking by. It was like 3 blocks of people. Like,
didn't that march like originally start like going through like Balboa Park and stuff like that, and then it ended up at the county building?
Probably.
All I know is they were in the streets of downtown from like 12 until like midnight. And
I was gonna say that. Yeah, it was like 11:30. Yeah, midnight.
And we didn't get there till like 7. We didn't get there till hell late. And there's a bunch of videos of them shooting tear gas and flashbangs at people, and SWAT's all freaking out on people. Before we got there. Yeah, that's that same one. That's that same one. They were marching all day.
Which one?
Downtown.
That's the like pretty much the first downtown one, the first real big
one. Yeah.
And I'll never forget too. We was there, we was recording. I don't know how long we was there. We hit some blocks, and then we making that right onto I don't know what street it is, but the street is a one-way coming towards us, and you just see the whole street, because it's a downtown street, so it's like all buildings. The whole street is blocked off by police in line, in order, like this. And remember, ain't nobody doing nothing, ain't nobody whatever, we marching. And remember, they just start walking towards us, just shooting into the crowd. And I was like, fuck, this is really happening right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we was really, my brain was like, yo, I'm really getting shot at right now by the police recording this, and we ain't even doing nothing. And luckily, Gary gave me some practice at dodging bullets. What'd you say?
No, I was just saying that at the county building, they just started attacking people for no reason. Once it was dark, they came out, everything. And I didn't know this until later, but even Border Patrol was there. So that they were all hiding in the building, ready to come out. And
oh, that was that same night. I thought that was a different night.
Nah, bro.
When they did that speech and then they was coming from the air, the helicopter, they was like,
yeah,
this is an unlawful assembly, blah blah blah.
They started, yeah. They were. I was worried.
Well, they said that. They said that all over.
Yeah, but this one, it was hella people. I remember that. I still got the videos. And then you talking about when they came out the side, they was coming out the side of the door real quick, like running and shit, like everybody's like, oh.
And we were gonna leave too, and then I just see a whole bunch of people, I hear drums and shit. I'm like, a whole bunch of people marching still. We're like, okay, fine.
All right, yeah, I know, I remember that. And they was like a block away. He was like, oh shit, okay.
I think there was hella people still. I thought everybody left, and then I mean, we marched for hours.
We got tear gassed. Remember, we got tear gassed and shit, and it didn't really burn that bad until I put water on my face, and then it started burning. I was like, "Oh man, I was good. But what is wrong?"
That was we got tear gas multiple times that night.
Yeah,
it was like 3 tear gases and a pepper and rubber bullets.
I'll never forget like walking down the street and just the line of police vehicles was nuts. Like there was 100 police vehicles, all the red and blue lights, all in line, and there was so many cops. But yeah.
Remember the bike team? Them niggas was always on following motherfuckers. That wasn't until a little later though.
Yeah, I think there was like 100 arrests that night in San Diego.
I believe it.
And I think it was that night. There was that video that went viral of the girl getting arrested by the unmarked police. They like pulled up to her and everyone's like, what are you doing? Yeah, they snatched her and didn't say anything. And they were,
And that's when that's when they was in Portland and they was just snatching people up in unmarked.
That was later when they did.
Yeah, that was later. But the video of this incident didn't come out till later either.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like kind of the same shit though, type of shit.
It went viral like the next day of her getting snatched up.
Yeah, the lady. Yes, it went viral the next day. But it wasn't like they figured out that shit like where they were just snatching people up later. But what I'm saying is, I think it was like some of the same type of shit. They weren't doing it heavy yet. But they just like, oh, we're just gonna grab somebody and scare the shit out of them. You know what I'm saying?
And Bunker Boy was not happy about Portland. That fool had beef with Portland. So.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about that. We can't leave Trump out of this shit. Okay, so first off, remember he was saying they asked him to say Black Lives Matter. He's like, that's a terrorist organization. Black people was terrorists. So fuck you, fam. Yeah, he kept talking about some Antifa. I'll never forget. Remember niggas was just walking down the street getting called Antifa, like at their regular jobs and shit. Like I'm trying to give you your Amazon package. Are you Antifa?
It still is like that, bro. The mayor of Portland just recently was like, if you see anyone in black clothing, call the police.
Yeah.
What?
Why? It's illegal to wear all black. Like, it's fucking, come on, fam. So yeah, that's right. So you're right. Yeah, but that was all fried. Now it was just a real weird time too. And remember, that's when like all the other major cities had just kind of started.
Well, no, I mean that first weekend there was nothing like that first weekend. The first weekend and then the second weekend were the two biggest ones. We went to Santee the next weekend, but the first like crazy time was that first weekend. There was nothing like that.
Every day was wild, and you didn't know what was going on.
There were like some other things like in Philly, like Philly went up like a few months later, and you know what I mean? There was like, there was times when people went up, but nothing like nationwide like that.
Yeah, that first week, everybody was like, sure. Remember LA?
So today, how far have we come? What's changed since last year?
Floyd bill. They've passed the Stop Asian Hate bill. I can count at least 7 people that was hung from trees during this past the year of the protest.
Yeah, we didn't learn much. I mean, it's
like
it's business as usual. It's
hung from trees, Sam. I'm talking about like it's 2020 and there's people in the tree hanging.
Well, don't forget they called them all suicides too.
And exactly, immediately at the first
every single one of them. Yeah, every single one of them is hung from a tree.
Yeah,
really.
The two, there was like 2 in California, 1 in Houston, 1 in was he in? It was one of the Carolinas. I can't remember. I'm gonna look it up so I remember. But
I thought one was in like Florida or something like that.
We haven't learned anything. I mean, there's been more anti-protest bills than like anti-police, police reform bills like passed in states. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Exactly.
They literally have a bill in Oklahoma and Arizona. I think they're trying to pass it in Arizona, but it's definitely in Oklahoma. If you are at a protest, you can run over the people that's protesting and they can't sue you. What's your call?
There's been more anti-voting bills and been like it's
in Florida.
It's obvious.
In Florida, if you give somebody some water when they're in line, it's illegal.
And I mean, look at what happened. Just like defund the police, like all the fucking, I mean, the conservatives obviously were not having it, but even the liberals, they're like, oh, defund the police. We can't defund the police. They need more training. They need more training.
Everything gets misconstrued. Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly.
It's not just one bad apple, or it's only a few bad apples, okay, guys? Only a few. And I mean,
but how many does it take to ruin the whole tree?
Like whole precincts aren't organized gangs. Like, come on, fam.
And like cops aren't the biggest criminal organization in the country. Like they get away with assault, they get away with murder, they get away with their criminals.
Selling drugs. Yeah, nigga, all these niggas sell drugs.
Beating their wives. Yep.
Beat their wives, like you said, woman beaters and shit. And who polices the police?
And I mean, this is what I mean is I really feel like people in power, like politicians, they didn't take it seriously, like at all. The same thing with like the January 6th, the Capitol insurrection, how they're not taking it serious. They didn't take the George Floyd uprising serious. They didn't take people's demands and feelings serious. They didn't take Black lives serious. You know what I mean? They continued life like it's whatever, you know what I mean? And then we're talking about some stupid federal bill, the George Floyd bill, which will give police billions of more dollars, even though there's good things in it. There are good things in it. It's just never going to pass. Like it needs 60 votes. You need 60 votes. And they act like it's going to pass. Oh, we're trying. We're going to pass this bill. We have to pass the George Floyd Act. We have to pass it. And like, it's the same thing with the $15 minimum wage. It's the same thing with student loans. They're not going to pass.
They talked about cancel culture on the Senate floor for like 3 days. And they talked about the George Floyd bill for like 8 hours. On the Senate floor, fam. On like using sentences and like bringing essays and shit, documents and shit. About cancel culture, fam, like a fucking something that's not even a real thing, like something that's like an idea, like this is an idea. So anyway, like you said, it's not real, and all these other all these companies are pandering now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some people,
man.
I mean, it's good and bad, but it's
the amount of pandering that I see on a daily is just, it's so mind-boggling. It's so crazy.
We're now gonna give black people more jobs. Like y'all wasn't giving niggas jobs before. We're gonna give black people more money.
We've been here just as long as y'all, but y'all just not figuring out that like
we're gonna give black more opportunity for education.
Like Kamala went on TV and was like, "Yeah, we're not a racist country," and so that's what I mean. Is like these people are adults, but they act like children. None of them want to have a legitimate conversation about changing the way that policing and the law is enforced in this country. They're not serious about it because it benefits them. It benefits it incredibly. It benefits them so much they won't even act like adults and have a legitimate conversation about it. And so that's why we're still here, because we can't even do the fucking basics. We can't have a legitimate conversation about it because they act like fucking babies.
No, they put on kente cloths and kneel. And then say that
and then use George Floyd's daughter as a prop. That shit pisses me off, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Yeah. So recently too, they got a picture of her walking through the door with a Marine holding the door and talking about how she got some Cheetos or something from Joe
hot
Biden.
Cheetos and some juice.
Cheetos and something.
The president gave her hot Cheetos and some
her
juice.
Daddy saved the world and shit, changed the world.
That's so fucking wrong. That's so wrong.
I'm like, fam, you literally ain't did shit to change the reason why her dad died. She's dead. Like, she need to be living a little girl life. You know what I'm saying? Like playing with toys and going to school and doing shit like that. And instead you got her in the White House taking photos with Marines. You know what I'm saying?
Like, for photo ops.
You know, it ain't, yeah. Like, come on, fam. Talking about you did that. Like,
well, I think it's high-key disrespectful because it's a photo op and then you don't even do anything. Like, you don't actually legitimately do anything. And Nancy Pelosi, George Floyd sacrificed his life for this. Like, that's fucked up. That's so fucked up. Like, and bro, I can't even express how fucked up it is. And these people are like, oh yeah, we're doing stuff and we're trying and
so my guy George Floyd got murdered, and they made like more commercials for black people. Not saying that some police didn't go to jail, and it's more, I guess it's a smidgen of more accountability, but it ain't shit. Like,
well, I mean, look at the Andrew Brown. Like, we could keep on. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's
I was about to say, like, we could go on and on and on.
Well, remember one of the police had bond. Remember one of the George Floyd police? Remember they saw him at the grocery store.
Yeah,
he was like, they was like, you should not be here. He was like, yes, I should. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this nigga is on video murdering somebody, walking around. Like, that's just as crazy as this Matt Gaetz thing. Like, he literally has sex trafficked kids, and he doing speeches. Like, he's like, when you in certain positions, man, it's crazy how the system works.
Listen,
my guy Dan Packman talked about it's a double tier system, pretty much. And if you in the second tier, you know what I'm saying, you got that immunity, or you got that leverage of that, yeah.
And Chauvin had his bail was less than some of these protesters out here in San Diego. San Diego PD just arrested a guy in LA, had LA County sheriffs arrest him. He was held on $1 million bail, bro. $1 million bail.
That's crazy. For protesting?
For PB stuff. From PB. $1 million, bro.
And remember they arrested that reporter while he was talking about the protest?
Oh, in Minnesota, in Minneapolis? Yeah.
Before they arrested the Derek Chauvin? They arrested the reporter talking about it before they arrested the dude that did it. Like, and protesters and all these other people that got arrested before they arrested him. Yeah, like it just goes to show, yeah, shit ain't changed too much. And then, like you said, Delaney, a year later, we still right here, like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah,
I mean, shout out to the lawyers though that did get Derek Chauvin convicted though.
I think they did do a good job.
Yeah, those lawyers were like pristine, G.
Man.
And also,
they were on A game. Yeah. They were on A game.
Yeah, they were A1, and also they're going after Amber Geiger too. The same three. So, you know, shout out to them. That's one thing that we got, you know. But I do believe that he went to jail because they knew that the world was going.
Who, Chauvin? Yeah.
Go up again.
I was surprised he got convicted on all 3 charges. So yeah, to come back around, it's a little bit tiny amount of change, like very small, very
the smidgeness of smidgen minute fucking.
So I don't know if I don't know how long it's like what it will take for them to realize that people are serious about the way that law enforcement and police and how we think about these things in the country, like, and they don't take it serious. Like they really don't take a lot of things serious, and it comes around and it bites them in the ass. And so I mean, it's a cycle, and so we're part of the same cycle that they were in the 60s. You know what I mean? And so,
and it's crazy. Like,
it's just our version of it.
Mm-hmm. I was listening to somebody, and it just talks about how, like, it's weird how you said it's a cycle, but it's like every time we go in this cycle, it's a small little push a little bit this way. You know what I'm saying? It's like it always takes a huge amount of work or a huge amount of effort for a small amount of change. Like you said, fam. And I think it's going to get wilder because, you know, Trump is still, if he don't go to jail, remember I told y'all he's going to go to jail, but if he still, you know, say whatever, he's going to spark up that same policing type of mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like, real quick, remember when the head of the New York Police Department was like, "They coming for us." What he say? That's the George Floyd protest. What? We ain't do nothing. We like, bro.
Yeah, so, bro. But I think that regardless of Trump, bro, it's gonna happen again. Something similar.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like regardless if it's Trump or not, like
I agree with that too.
And Joe Biden is pissing a lot of people off. So,
yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
When you sit there and say, I'm going to make $15 minimum wage, I'm going to cancel student loans, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I mean, he's basically done exactly what I thought he was going to do, which is keep the status quo. So,
yep. Fix coronavirus and then everything else is going to be what it is. Yep.
And I mean, and I mean, we kind of fixed coronavirus. We still have a bunch of things.
I mean, well, yeah, no, it ain't fixed.
But I knew that that's what Joe Biden was going to do. Like, that's who really wants you back at work. That's who really wants you paid like shit. Like, It's not just Trump that wants you paid like shit, bro.
No, yeah, 100%. It's crazy. I saw this picture and I shared it earlier. It's one dude and he got like a dollar next to him and some change. And it's like $15 minimum wage on the sign. And then it's like a huge stack of money. And it's a dude on top of that bitch and he pointing down. He like, your greed is destroying the economy. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like people that have all the money are literally telling people that don't have any money that because they won't get paid more money, they're destroying the economy. And this is a weird ass metaphor. But that's a whole different story. Back to George Floyd. So,
That's
I'm done. I'm off.
I'm done.
Yeah. So, first off, shout out to all the people that made the protest happen, you know, in this country and other countries, you know, because we was there. We was 10 toes down, you know. That's part of history. So, shout out to everybody that was part of that, and
Yeah.
fuck you if you was DEC or all them other niggas that was on some bullshit trying
they're weak. They're weak.
Yeah.
Shout out to DEC, y'all were lame. Yeah, beating freaking 17-year-old girls. Yeah, we know.
Bum ass motherfuckers.
We ain't forget.
Bum ass.
Boop.
Yes. Hey, shout out to the ones that didn't fade away when this shit wasn't a trend anymore. Shout out to the ones that lost their lives too. I want to say that. Yeah, shout out to the ones.
A lot of people did die. Like 19 people died. So
people was getting ran over. Remember they
cops killed people.
People got ran over on the highway. Remember they hit like a white girl. They hit like dude got out
she
the car?
did in Denver. She got
remember that dude got out the car. He had a disabled girl. He shot the dude. It was with his girl in a wheelchair or something.
Garrett Foster in Austin.
He got off, I think. I don't know for sure. Don't quote me on that 100%.
Nah, he was in the army, bro. The fool who did it is currently in the army, bro. He didn't even get in trouble for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He got off. Yeah, he killed the dude. It just got off, walked away. So my bad for cutting you off, Delaney.
No, you good. So, but yeah, just shout out to the people that stuck, stuck with it, stayed, like you said, 10 toes down, even when it wasn't trending anymore, even when, Breonna Taylor didn't get justice, even though we're still seeking justice and we still want you to arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor, even though George Floyd's murderers were arrested, and it wasn't in the media anymore, and all the uprisings, calmed down. There were still people out there fighting for justice.
And it calmed down on the internet.
Yeah, like I said, bro, man, it is what it is. It wasn't a trend no more. It wasn't trending. People, you didn't see it on social media like that anymore. People wasn't talking about it anymore, so people didn't do it. Everybody there was a lot of people out there that took this as a social media advantage. But it is what it is. We did make some change out of it, so that'll always be a plus in my book. So, yeah.
Boop.
Boop.
I agree. And on that note, I'm your host, GDQ.
It's your boy, Real Walter Ford. R.I.P. George Floyd. Say the prayers to the family and everybody else.
It's your boy, Mac 2301.
Stay activated podcast.
Stay activated. Black Lives Matter. Arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor.
Woo! And like that,
Buy some
we go.